In Palestine, Israeli occupation warplanes continue targeting civilians, 127 Palestinians dead in the last 24 hours. In Chile, the number of people killed as a result of the forest fires in the Valparaiso region rises to 133. In Haiti, human rights organizations describe as catastrophic children's situation and warn that millions are directly impacted by the economic, political, and social crisis. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Palestine, Israeli occupation warplanes targeted citizens' homes in Deir al-Balah and al-Sawa'id in central Gaza and Han Yunis in the south, killing dozens of Palestinian civilians. Local sources say that the occupation warplanes bombed the home of al-Bakaraka family in the city of Deir al-Balah, killing 7 citizens, including 3 children. 5 Palestinians were killed and others injured after the occupation forces targeted a group of citizens near the Kuwait roundabout south of Gaza City. In the south, the Israeli warplanes launched raids west of the city of Han Yunis, where 2 people were killed and others injured. In a preliminary toll, the ongoing Israeli aggression on Gaza since October 7th has resulted in 28,987 fatalities, with 68,677 others injured. The Palestinian Prisoners Affairs Commission denounces the increase in torture and confinement practices implemented by Israel's prison service. The head of the institution, Kadura Fares, rejected the isolation imposed on imprisoned Palestinian leaders in the last few months. Over 7,000 Palestinian men and women have been arrested only in the occupied West Bank. In addition, several thousands have been apprehended in the Gaza Strip for a total of 12,000 prisoners, including hundreds of children. The exactions carried out by Israeli occupation forces are in violation of all international treaties and conventions. The Al Jazeera reporter Salah Ismail Khalil Mohammed also told us about he lost one of his limbs and his colleague was wounded as a result of an Israeli shell.
I had put on my vest and we were getting ready to go to the European hospital in Gaza. We had walked some 300 meters to the point where I was to meet with Ahmed when we were hit. As Ahmed was telling how he almost died in the most recent attack, an F-16 airplane launched a missile on us.
In Japan, many citizens have expressed their support for the Palestinian people and have called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Demonstrators gathered in several cities carrying Palestinian flags and banners with slogans against Israel demanding an end to the genocide of the Palestinian people. They also denounced lack of humanitarian aid to provide for the victims. Demonstration organizers said they will continue to rally until they succeed in halting the Israeli aggression. Also in Milan, Italy, hundreds of citizens joined worldwide demonstrations in solidarity with the Palestinian people in the face of the relentless Israeli aggression against the Gaza Strip. Demonstrators described the Israeli military actions as a genocide due to Tel Aviv's human rights violations. Citizens carried signs with slogans like "Freedom for Palestine" and "Stop war crimes against civilians." Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, at least 12 people were arrested by police officers during pro-Palestinian demonstrations. More than 250,000 people took to the streets to condemn the Israeli aggression and call for a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. In Chile, the number of people killed as a result of the forest fires in the Valparaiso region rises to 133. Chile's Forensic Medical Service informed that up to now, 108 of the fatal victims of the disasters have been identified. However, work continues in order to provide a prompt response to those affected by the tragedy. It is expected that this figure will be the final one once the debris removal work is concluded. Meanwhile, the municipality of Viña del Mar reported that about 60% of the affected area has been cleared, although work continues. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back from the south. In Panama, inflation keeps on the rise. There has been a steady increase in the price of retail goods, utilities, and services. According to the Panamanian National Institute of Statistics and Census, the higher price increases occur in electricity, transportation, housing, water, and gas. In fact, the Consumer Price Index showed that those utilities experienced a 1.7% increase in the month of January alone. A report reveals that in the United States, every 96 minutes, a person dies in a work-related accident. According to data from Labor Statistics Bureau, the results of the fatal occupational injury census showed an increase of over 5% in the number of fatal occupational injuries. Statistics revealed that the highest proportion of casualties were of Latinos, agriculture, fishing, and forestry workers. However, transportation incidents are the most common causes, facts reflecting the state's lack of investment in workers' social security. In Haiti, human rights organizations describe as catastrophic the children's situation and warn that millions of kids are directly impacted by the economic, political, and social crisis affecting the country. The San Mitimun Foundation regretted the situation of this sector of society in the midst of increasing food and health conditions. According to local media, in 2023, an estimated 207,000 children were living in domestic service in Haiti, another 113,000 were displaced due to gang violence, and 500 were unaccompanied repatriated at the Haiti-Dominican border. In view of this situation, the United Nations Children Fund called on the authorities to guarantee the safety of children in Haiti, where violence continues to be rampant. The Cuban government expressed concern about the condition of doctors Landy Rodriguez and Acel Herrera kidnapped in 2019 by a terrorist group between Kenya and Somalia. Cuban authorities reported to be in communication with Kenya and Somalia in order to confirm information published by unofficial sources. In this regard, President Miguel Diaz-Canel said the country is working with international authorities to determine the outcome of the accident. Likewise, Public Health Minister Jose Angel Portal reiterated that the Cuban government is making efforts to obtain the release and return of the kidnapped doctors in the Kenyan city of Mandera. In the framework of the 32nd edition of the International Book Fair in Havana, the government of Cuba and Brazil signed an agreement that will allow the exchange of information and experiences of library materials. The agreement consists in a memorandum of understanding between the National Library Foundation of Brazil and the National Library of Cuba, which provides for the exchange of information and experiences, visits, library materials, as well as the realization of several joint actions. The document also provides for a schedule of concrete follow-up actions for cooperation between the two institutions and was signed by FBN President Marco Lucchesi on the Brazilian side, who donated books to the Jose Marti National Library for the occasion, and by his counterpart, Omar Balino Cedre, on the Cuban side.
Indudablemente, porque para nosotros Cuba
For us, Cuba was and still is a second homeland, the homeland that has taught us many important things, not only for Brazil, but for Latin America. You were ahead in many places, in many reasons, concepts of humanity, of open policies towards solidarity among peoples, which counts because we are on the same planet. Well, I believe that now we have to retake the threats that were, I don't say noted, not even lost, but threats that were not well done for reasons that we all know. That is to say, now we have to think of a political agenda full of humanism and culture. I believe that in this way we will be able to achieve justice and peace, and above all, solidarity among the peoples, because Cuba is facing many very important challenges, and we are very close to all the concerns, because the destiny of Cuba and the Cuban people is also the destiny of Latin America.
And as the 32nd edition of Havana's International Book Fair continues on Saturday, Cuban Marxist philosopher Isabel Monal, to whom this fair is dedicated alongside novelist Francisco Lopez Sacha, was paid tribute at the Casa del Alba in the Vedado neighborhood. Casa del Alba is one of the many sites co-hosts in this year's edition, ALBA being the Spanish acronym for Bolivarian Alternative for the Americas. Isabel Monal Rodriguez, born in 1931, has a PhD in philosophical and pedagogical science, and she is considered one of the great intellectuals of revolutionary Cuba. Monal has been a university professor. She even runs Cuba's National Theater, and from 1980 till 1991, she worked at UNESCO's offices in Paris as a program specialist in higher education. Monal is a tenured academic and professor of merit at the University of Havana and professor of merit at the Cuba's International Affairs Higher Ed Institute. In this context, the prominent Cuban philosopher and researcher Isabel Monal told us about the importance of the debate generated by this cultural event.
Debate is always useful. It's a very important thing that all peoples of the world, it doesn't matter what political tendency, in what society they are, they need to develop, they need to use it, because through debate, through contradiction, this kind of things is always a way of enrichment, of being useful to the society.
She also told us about the importance of reading as an instrument to combat the crisis that affects current society.
People need to read. Without reading, it's impossible the creation of more healthy society, more just society. And reading in a critical way, understanding, creating new ideas, a critical reading, understanding that we have to participate in the decisions of society. But our right to participate in decisions of society means also a great responsibility toward history and toward the present and our societies. We are living in the world a very luminous moment, but at the same time, a very horrible moment where so many people are dying, where the struggle of people are bringing new change and needed change of society, but at the same time, killing and suffering. Reading should be an instrument for people we are fighting, for people we are looking for a better society, for people we are ready to say, stop.
We have a fun short break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience, you can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSUR. Fun short break, don't go away. Welcome back. African Union leaders condemn Israel's offensive against the Gaza Strip and call for its immediate end. During his speech at the summit held in Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia, the president of the international organization, Moussa Faki, expressed his support and solidarity with the people of Palestine while condemning the Israeli attacks against the Gaza Strip, which he described as the most flagrant violation of international humanitarian law. For his part, the head of state of the Comoros Islands, an outgoing president of the African Union, Sali Assoumani, praised the case brought by South Africa against Israel before the International Court of Justice. In this regard, he called on the international community not to ignore the disastrous consequences of the Israeli genocide and to join efforts to put an immediate end to it. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva proposed an alliance with African countries to fight deforestation. During a speech at the 37th African Union Summit, the Brazilian president said that caring for the planet's health is a priority, while stressing the duty to protect the world's two largest tropical forests, the Amazon and the Congo. In this sense, President Lula da Silva proposed working on joint initiatives for the protection of tropical forests, including a satellite network to monitor deforestation and the recovery of degraded areas. This after considering that the international instruments that currently exist are insufficient to effectively protect these areas, their biodiversity, and the people who live in, care for, and depend on these biomes.
I come to reaffirm the partnership and bond between our country and our people and this broader continent. The African struggle has much in common with the challenges facing Brazil. We have to chart our own paths in the emerging international order. We need to create a new world order capable of facing the challenges of our time.
The president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, reaffirmed on Sunday his willingness to reach a peaceful solution to the Ukrainian conflict. During an interview, the Russian president assured that his country is ready to find a solution to the conflict as long as the West seeks a peaceful resolution. The president indicated that Russia was forced to abandon political instruments and resort to military strategies due to the failure of Kiev and the Western countries to comply with the Minsk agreements. Putin pointed out that in 2022, Russia tried to put a peaceful end to the conflict, but the Western countries prevented it from agreeing on the parameters of a possible peace treaty with Ukraine. The Chinese government increased security operations in Taiwan Strait following an incident with a fishing boat in which 2 Chinese nationals were killed. The Coast Guard of the Asian giant confirmed that they will reinforce the patrol operations in the South China Sea to preserve operational order and protect fishermen's lives and properties. This is after a boat with 4 fishermen overturned on Thursday, February 15th, when it was chased by Taiwan Island authorities, resulting in the death of 2 Chinese nationals. In this regard, authorities of the Asian giant stressed that the incident caused widespread indignation on both sides of Taiwan Strait, since those waters are traditionally used for fishermen from both mainland China and the Chinese island of Taiwan. On Sunday, conservationists around the globe are observing World Whale Day. This date was set to raise awareness about the threat of extinction facing whales, and is sprung from an initiative by the Greg Kaufman, founder of Pacific Whale Foundation in 1980 in Maui, Hawaii. Whales are mammals, family of cetaceans, which inhabit the cold waters of the Arctic and tropical regions. They are the largest mammals on the planet, and it has been estimated that their life of the planet dates back some 55 million years. However, illegal fishing and practices and sport hunting have pushed them to the brink of extinction. We have come to the end of this news review. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our social media on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.